On this episode of CPR Ford Garage, an update on the 69 F-100 project and talk about plans and budget. So, I believe I said it in the video, but I paid $800 for the 69 F-100 pickup. Has some rust, has some body damage, had a good running 360. I'm not going to count the parts in that I used to get it running for the budget, because that was basically for my own entertainment and for the purpose of the video. I could have just taken a trailer down there to my dad's and loaded it on a trailer and pulled it up here and not even needed to really get it running or driving or any of that stuff. So, truck, bought it for $800. I don't know if you can see that. Bought the truck for $800, and now I have sold the hubcaps. They were in good shape, dog dish hubcaps, you know, desirable to some people. Sold them for $75 on Craigslist to a gentleman. The engine, the 360, a good running 360, I sold on, it was either Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, I can't remember now. $450, so that put me at $275 for the truck. And then the stuff I kind of showed you in the other video, that cab, fenders, the bed that's in pretty mint shape, especially the floor, all that stuff I paid $500 for. It was basically a trailer load. So puts us at $775 right now for a truck that is basically better than what I paid $800 for at this point. Yes, it doesn't run and drive anymore now that I took the engine out, but the sheet metal was kind of an optional thing also, so include that $500 or don't if you want to, but I'm way ahead putting that better bed on there than trying to patch and repair the junk bed that came on it that's just rotten and just beat. That's going to save me a lot of time. If I didn't say before in the other video, I am going to cut it down to a short bed, so there'll still be some work as far as the bed goes. I'm going to cut the frame on the pickup and shorten it also. I am doing the Crown Vic front end, and this is my plan. Here we are, having survived Winterpocalypse 2019. If you're wondering why there hasn't been any progress videos, it has something to do with all of this white bull crap. Also has to do with about 2 months of sub-zero temperatures. Frozen hell, pretty much. Oh, look at that. Stay on it with the snow removal. That. Picked up a cherry picker finally. It's been a long time coming. So, getting this pulled out, and somebody's supposed to come pick it up in a couple days. Sold that on Facebook for $450. So, here's some of what I was talking about with the inner fenders being just rotten, and it's really just that spot around the hinge. What happens is these don't have fender liners, so mud gets flung up all the way into here and it never gets cleaned out. So next time water gets flung in there, it re-wets it and just rots it out. As you can see, not a whole lot of wiring to unhook on this guy. Wire for the coil temperature sender, oil pressure sender, I believe that's it. too much. Okay, tighten it and then start going back up slow. Going. Oh, cool story, bro. Okay. Keep going. A little bit faster. Yahtzee. Well, this is antifreeze. Whatever we were caught on, we're not anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, pull the creeper, or pull the creeper back in. Okay, now jack up. Don't go slowly, just steady it. Okay. Okay, hold up a sec. Don't have anything else holding us still. We got over here heater cable. Okay, that's not attached. Okay, continue jacking. Then we might actually have to shove it back in a little bit. Yeah, give it a little shove towards the truck because we don't want to. Yep. Good. Okay, good. Jack. Because we don't want to smash it into the radiator.
Well, I just got a lot heavier. Nope. What is that TV? Draining it.
It's just antifreeze. It'll dry.
Dad, what is that TV up there for?
Okay, now I need you to give it a shove back towards the truck again, because as you jack it, it angles that way. So give it a little more, little more. Okay.
Oh boy, we're gonna hit soon.
Uh-oh. So this also happened. I'm not a carpenter, but I sometimes play one on TV. So I built this bed dolly. Got just wheels from Harbor Freight, 4x4 pressure treated posts, and then a bunch of 2x4s that I had left over from remodeling my basement, the old ones that I tore out. So I'm not a carpenter, but I think that's good enough that it'll work. And I made it narrow enough that I should have room to cut the front and rear of the bed while it's on there. So that will likely be the first thing to happen, so that I have some more room in here. Then we'll get the truck wheeled in here and get the old bed off of it and cut the back of the frame on the truck, and we'll start there. So here is the core for the engine build. What does that say right there? 5.3, 4.8, what? Heads and crank and all that stuff are in there. I know that choice is going to bring some hate, but it really is the cheapest engine to build. To make horsepower cheap. Comes with aluminum heads, fully skirted block, lag bolted main caps. That means they got the bolt that comes in the side. Ford modulars do too, but parts are cheap. It's cheap to make horsepower with. So, and you know what? If you don't like it, it's my truck. So, no watch then. I'm just messing with you. I couldn't do that. I am a true blue Ford guy from way back. So a little bit about my background, I guess, and I don't know, you don't have to listen to what I say, but maybe you should. I've been working on cars for about 21 years. In one way or another, love old cars, especially old Ford pickups. I went to school to be an auto technician, and did that for about 10 plus years. I was ASE certified. Geez, I don't remember, it's been so long. I had 5 ASE certs, I can't remember. Built several engines, built several vehicles. That's what I used to do for a living, but do something entirely different now. So that's my experience. And no, it's going to be a Ford pushrod V8. It would never be an ugly belly button LS motor that everybody has and everybody does. So the point I'm trying to make with this build is, if you watch a lot of the shows, like if you used to watch Power Block back in the day like I used to, and watch trucks and horsepower and all of that TV, they spend quite a bit of money on those builds. If you watch what's currently going on, these old F-100s, everybody's doing coyote swap, right? That's the new hotness. Well, my point is just to show that you don't need all of that stuff to have fun and to have a good, solid, reliable build. You can do it actually a lot cheaper, hopefully, and in theory. I'll qualify it with that. So a stock Coyote, from what I can see, makes about 435 horsepower, 390 to 400 foot-pounds of torque, and I looked at a junkyard Coyote motor out of a pickup, changing the things to make it the same as a Mustang 5-liter, and then the control pack and all the associated things you would need, and it's just too expensive for what I want to do. I think that for less money I can have a lot more fun with an old pushrod V8, and make more power than a Coyote makes, I do believe. Now, is it going to idle smooth, get 20 plus miles a gallon, have lower emissions, all of that stuff that you get with the modern car, variable cam timing, fuel injection, all of that stuff, coil on plug ignition? No, it's not going to have any of that stuff. But my point is, do you need all of that stuff in something that is a toy vehicle that's a hot rod, basically? It's not your daily driver. I already have Bruce, which is a mild build, and came out just how I wanted it. Now, I've had a build in my head ever since the Crown Vic front end swap started being popular, and reading about it on the forums. I've had a build in my head. Initially wanted to do that to Bruce when I built him 3 or 4 years ago, but basically Bruce is just too nice of an original pickup to cut up that much. So I got this 69 F-100, not a nice original pickup. I have no qualms about cutting the crap out of it, and that's kind of the point. But like I said, the other point I want to make is that you don't need all that high dollar, fancy electronic, late model engine, overdrive transmission, fuel injection. Don't need all that stuff to have fun with an old truck. And so that's what the build is going to be. I have an engine in mind that I'm pretty sure that I'm going with, but I want to actually have it here before we do that. So ideally, during this build, what I'll be showing is an engine build, a low buck engine build to make horsepower, using only really what you need to get, a transmission build, and probably a rear end build as well, and a suspension build, and brakes, and a little bit of body work and paint stuff, but that's kind of out of my wheelhouse, so I'm not going to get too heavy into that. And I don't want the truck to have a nice paint job. I don't. They're way more enjoyable when they don't. As soon as you paint something, in my experience, it's kind of ruined. Because then you don't want to go hoon on it and go do track days with it and take it to the drag strip, because the paint's going to get chipped and yada yada yada. It's a lot more fun to have something that's a hot rod and cool looking with kind of rough paint. So yeah, maybe we should call this a diesel douchebag. No, I mean, maybe we should call this the Coyote Killer build. But like I said, it won't do all the things that a Coyote will do. Coyotes are great. I mean, they make that horsepower, they meet emissions, they have smooth idle, good gas mileage, all that stuff. They'll go probably 300,000-400,000 miles when properly cared for. I don't need any of that stuff, and neither do you if you're building a hot rod. So we're going to do it the old way. It's going to be visceral. It's going to be not creature comforty. I'll try to make it a good overall build, not focused on really one thing, but it's going to make good horsepower. But with that, there's going to be no power brakes, no power steering, no AC, no cruise, no overdrive, no fuel injection, none of that stuff. It's just going to be about going fast, really, and having a fun hot rod. The thing that kind of started my whole love affair, well, it didn't kind of, the thing that started my whole love affair with muscle trucks is my Lightning that I had, a 94 Lightning, and I'll put some pictures of it in here. Man, I love that truck, and I miss it. It's kind of the one that got away. But, you know, in life you're forced to do adult things, and it was paid off, and we wanted to buy a house, so it got sold. But basically that's the dragon I've been chasing with Bruce, which didn't quite scratch the itch, and hopefully this new truck will. And that's the point of the build, is to be a muscle truck, not to be, you know, it's not meant to be a road racing, mile per gallon getting long trip road vehicle. It's muscle truck to me has a lot of horsepower and is low, nice stance, nice wheel and tire package and all of that, and looks mean and is loud, and that's what it means to me, and that's what I'm trying to do with this.